Once again, Manchester United has gone full changing mode. After Erik Ten Hag is sacked, the club have wasted no time in moving for their primary target to replace him, Sporting CP head coach Ruben Amorim. The 39-year-old, who becomes the youngest full-time United head coach since Wilf McGuinness, who was appointed in 1969, will take over after international break ahead of the trip to Ipswich Town on 24 November. During his farewell at Sporting, Amorim dropped hints about his plans for United's lineup. When asked about his strategy, he suggested he would introduce his trusted formation with three central defenders rather than United's recent setup with two. He emphasized that his approach would adapt based on United's existing squad, any injuries, and player strengths, though he plans to stick to a system he knows well. "I know how I am going to play in the beginning," Amorim explained. "You have to start with a structure that you know, then you adapt to the players, their abilities to defend or attack." His response has sparked curiosity among United fans, as this switch could bring a fresh approach that balances defense and attack. Amorim's tactical philosophy proved successful in Portugal, where he led Sporting to 2 league titles. His disciplined and adaptable style is expected to bring stability to United, who have shown recent improvement under interim coach Ruud van Nistelrooy, staying unbeaten in their last 4 games. United supporters are hopeful Amorim's approach will bring the consistency they've been longing for. Whether or not the formation change unlocks the potential of United's talented roster will soon be put to the test. Any change of manager always brings with it a degree of intrigue, but Amorim's imminent arrival is made even more fascinating because tactically he represents quite a significant shift from any prior United boss in recent memory. Known for playing with a back three and without conventional wingers, Amorim's setup would be a real departure from what fans are used to seeing at Old Trafford. Assuming he decides to stick with the system that served him so well at Sporting, that is. While that's certainly not guaranteed, it's only natural to wonder how life at United might play out if Amorim does opt to oversee something of a tactical revolution. Considering how drastic such an alteration could be, it will suit some players more than others. While it's been proved time and again that bringing in a new manager offers no guarantees, there are plenty of signs that point to this being a highly intriguing appointment for a club in dramatic decline. The most obvious topic is whether Amorim's 3-4-3 formation is the immediate remedy to produce short-term results for Manchester United. While he might find himself short of ball-playing center-backs, though having 18-year-old Lenny Yoro back to fitness, estimated to return around November 24, should help. The picture is not too grim with Matthijs de Ligt, Lisandro Martinez, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, and Johnny Evans. The United stars who might suffer most are classic wingers Alejandro Garnacho and Amad Diallo, but Amorim has used players like this before to great effect, and with an improved work rate and willingness to track back, a wing-back role might work for them, or they could be moved inside. Meanwhile, the likes of Diogo Dalot, Luke Shaw, and Noussair Mazraoui could thrive in a more advanced wing-back position. Ruben Amorim, Manchester United's new head coach, is known for his dynamic 3-4-3 formation, which emphasizes versatility, technical skill, and tactical awareness. To implement his system effectively, retaining certain key players will be crucial. In the midfield, we have some big names to be listed. Now, it seems extremely unlikely that Bruno will suddenly find himself out of the team or moved on following Amorim's arrival. After all, Bruno Fernandes isn't just the skipper. Most would agree he's their best player as well. However, it's a valid point to make that his number 10 role doesn't really exist in its current guise in Amorim's system. Again, we don't know with certainty what formation he'll choose, but a proper number 10 isn't something he's relied upon regularly in the past. There is an iteration of Amorim's preferred 3-4-3 formation that has incorporated a support striker at the tip of a midfield diamond, and this would therefore be one way to deploy Fernandes in a central role, though this wouldn't be regarded as Amorim's usual setup. As such, there's a distinct possibility Fernandes might have to adapt to a slightly different role than the one he's used to. If Amorim were to set United up more like his Sporting team, the likeliest scenarios would see Fernandes either used as one of the two midfielders in a double pivot or as one of the forwards supporting the central striker. The latter wouldn't be completely alien to him. For instance, Ten Hag used Fernandes out on the right when he wanted to crowd the midfield. Similarly, those wide forwards in Amorim's Sporting side have quite often tucked in, almost functioning as a striker's partner. Nevertheless, the point is, Fernandes may not have the same freedom under Amorim. That'll be a welcome change for some, but it could negatively impact his creativity. Manuel Ugarte is another new signing. His defensive midfield capabilities provide balance and support, crucial for maintaining structure. Ugarte rose under Amorim at Sporting, joining them initially as a backup to João Palhinha in 2021 before challenging him for his spot and ultimately replacing the Portugal international a year later when he moved to Fulham. Ugarte became renowned at Sporting for his all-action style, occupying one of the double pivot positions in Amorim's midfield. While a perfectly able footballer in most senses, it was his tenacity and presence off the ball that many deemed to be Ugarte's key strengths. That wasn't enough for Paris Saint-Germain coach Luis Enrique, who wanted a defensive midfielder who was more of a deep-lying playmaker, hence their move for João Neves in the summer, opening the door for Ugarte to depart. Ugarte felt like a sensible signing because it was expected he'd bring the steel and off-ball mobility sorely missing from United's midfield. But he hardly featured under Ten Hag. In fact, his 347 minutes in all competitions prior to Wednesday's 5-2 EFL Cup win over Leicester was less than half the 761 and 779 amassed by Casemiro and Christian Eriksen, both of whom the club were apparently eager to offload in the summer. Amorim's arrival will surely see Ugarte, who was excellent against Leicester, become more prominent, and given his familiarity with playing in the coach's systems, he might actually be quite important if United have to transition to a new style of play. In fairness to Casemiro, he's actually enjoyed a good start to the season. His introduction off the bench has made a difference on a couple of occasions. He hasn't looked as exposed in recent games as last term, and his passing ability remains valuable to United, especially in transition. In the summer, Mainoo was one of three players, Højlund and Garnacho being the others, who were ring-fenced as United made it clear they were willing to listen to offers for virtually all their first-team squad. As a local boy and academy graduate, Mainoo, 19, is the pin-up boy for how the club wants to be represented. So, while it is safe to assume Amorim singled out more than one player for a spot of impromptu coaching, the discussion with Mainoo was the one that made it into the public domain. Amorim showed Mainoo what he wanted from him in terms of body shape and positioning, and what different options he could have by moving just a short distance. Mason Mount's versatility allows him to play in various midfield positions, offering tactical flexibility. Mount has reportedly impressed Amorim in training sessions. Amorim has plans to make Mount a key figure in United's new look team. It's said the Portuguese coach admires Mount's versatility, which looks set to work greatly in the 25-year-old's favor. Mount has just returned to full training, having been plagued by injuries since swapping Chelsea for Manchester United in a £60 million deal last summer. He has been restricted to just 26 appearances to date and unable to showcase his best form. The Blues Academy graduate was an integral figure at Chelsea, who massively split opinion among their own fan base when they decided to cash in on the popular midfielder after he entered the final year of his contract. And what about the forwards? This is still some big headache to every coach of Manchester United. How Amorim will deal with the goal-scoring problem. Marcus Rashford's pace and goal-scoring ability make him a key asset in the attacking trio, capable of playing centrally or on the wings. Ruben Amorim reportedly looks set to select Marcus Rashford as his preferred number 9 option in a new system for Manchester United in a bid to get the best out of the academy graduate. Rashford was in sparkling form in Erik ten Hag's debut season at the club, scoring 30 goals in all competitions in the 2022/2023 season, but has struggled since, finding the net just 12 more times in 61 appearances. There's been doubt as to how the 27-year-old will fit in Amorim's 3-4-3 system, with some even suggesting he could be used at wing-back rather than as an inside forward, with Alejandro Garnacho and Mason Mount more suited to those roles behind the central striker. Alejandro Garnacho is a promising talent. Garnacho's agility and creativity can be harnessed effectively in Amorim's attacking strategies. When I see what happened with Garnacho at the weekend, he scores and he's a bit sulky because a few fans have decided to get on his case or whatever. I think that stems from Marcus as well, and hear me out on this when Marcus is throwing his arms about and the world owes him a favor. What if you're a young player, you're looking up to him? Why would you not go, well, I'm gonna act the same way? We talked about Amad Diallo, didn't we? His technical skills and versatility can provide depth and options in the forward line. Amad has a curious status at United in that he looks and feels like a young emerging talent, when he is actually one of the longest serving players at the club. Only 5 players in the current squad were already there when he joined United from Atalanta in January 2021. Amorim will be the 6th coach, including interims, he has worked under, and yet Sunday was just his 10th Premier League start, his 13th in a competitive game. He quickly showed that he should have played far more often. Within a couple of minutes, the Ivorian had embarrassed the Leicester defense, dragging Boubakary Samar all over the place on the right wing before winning a free kick. Later, his tenacity saw him chase a long ball over the top and race downfield to win a throw in the final third. It led to him setting up the opening goal for Fernandes with a delightful back heel. Amad produced another thrilling moment before halftime, ripping through the middle of the pitch and taking on 4 players before hammering the ball at goalkeeper Mads Hermansen. Every time he got on the ball, the crowd got excited. They had just seen him drag the team to victory against PAOK, which was his first start for more than a month. He had come off injured in the Europa League game, and there were doubts about whether he would be ready in time to face Leicester. But Ruud van Nistelrooy rewarded the forward for his recent displays, and Amad repaid his faith. In the defense, these players could benefit from Ruben Amorim'S tactics. With Lisandro Martinez, his adaptability allows him to function both as a center-back and a defensive midfielder, aligning well with Amorim's tactical flexibility. Another man is Luke Shaw, he's capable of operating as a left-sided center-back or wing-back. Shaw's versatility is valuable in a three-man defense. Matthijs de Ligt is a recent acquisition. De Ligt brings leadership and experience to the backline, essential for organizing the defense. By focusing on these players, Amorim can build a cohesive unit that embodies his tactical philosophy, aiming to revitalize Manchester United's performances. To stabilize the squad, he might also prioritize promoting promising youth players while gradually introducing tactical complexity. His approach focuses on immediate results to win time for long-term development.